Welcome to the Book Talk Babes podcast. Today we will be discussing Using Fejo and Releasing Maladek by Victoria Aveline. There will be spoilers. Please check the episode description for a list of any other books that we spoil. This episode will also contain explicit language. My name is Ashley, and today I am joined by my two lovely friends, Elaine.
Hello.
And Liana.
Hi.
Thanks for returning listeners. Welcome new ones. Yeah, I have dubbed us the unofficial Clecanian fan club. So this is what? This is books 5 and 5.5.
Yeah. Well, we're probably going to meet the official fan club, right?
What?
Well, I mean, we'll meet the author. I don't know if there's an official fan club. We could start one.
Her fans would be there.
Yes. We could email her and be like, hey.
Hey.
Actually, that'd be really cool if we could like get her on for an interview.
Could you imagine?
I'm not sure what the selling points would be, but because I could contact her and be like, hey, like we have this book podcast. We talk about all your books all the time. We only have like 14 listens on a regular.
It's like we're a bunch of dorks, and
usually take you're not going to get a bunch of listens right off the bat, but that's okay.
No.
Yeah. Well,
what if we're like, let's on the podcast for like the new book that comes out. We could talk about that.
That'd be cool.
With her. That'd be really cool.
I can try to contact her when it gets closer to that time. Did y'all I meant to send y'all a screenshot. Our last TikTok that I posted on like Monday or whatever, because I've been slacking, got almost 2,000 views.
Wow.
Which one was
Which
that?
one was that? Yeah.
The Krampus one.
Oh.
Did you use hashtags?
You want to know which one I think did it?
Huh.
And the only reason I did it, so like me and Steven were watching a YouTube video and they were talking about book talk, and they're not part of the book community at all, the person that was talking about it, but they were like, hashtag smut talk has like like a crazy amount of like searches or whatever. And I was just like, so that's the hashtag I need to start using. So that's one of the hashtags I added to the Railed by the Krampus. And I think that's what smut talk. Hashtag smut talk. I'm like,
I like it.
All right, I'm just gonna put it on every clip, even if we're not talking about anything smutty. It'd be very misleading.
I mean, we
Clickbait.
do talk about some smutty stuff though.
No, we do, but not all of our clips are smutty, you know?
I'm sad that there aren't more books because I use her books as a palate cleanser in between other books.
Yeah.
And now I have to wait.
When is Rago supposed to come out? Do we know?
I don't think
year?
she has a release date yet. Because she just just came out with the cover reveal. And I don't think there was a release date yet.
I wonder when she'll stop. Like, who else is there?
Is she ever gonna do? Yeah, Izzy and
there's Izzy and Daisy, right? And then I'm just gonna throw this out here as I was doing my re-listen of Fejo. What is his name? The old guy that always helps them with their marriage ceremonies.
And Rita.
What the hell is his? And Rita, yes.
Oh yeah. What is his name?
I only have the audiobook, so I can't look it up.
I know who you're talking about.
Oh.
Siva? Oh no, that's not right.
No, that's the sister, Siva, or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's gonna drive me nuts.
Let's see, I think I still have the.
I have Theo. I guess I could look up Choosing Theo.
Yeah, but we know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I can't move past this. I'm sorry.
No, I know. It's bothering me too.
And I know once I see it, I'm going to be like, yeah, damn it.
Is it Zika? No.
Zykus, right?
Zykus. I think that's right.
Okay. You said Zykus, and I was like, wait. I haven't found it yet.
Yeah. Zykus. The men. Yeah, Zykus.
Is it Zykus?
It's Zykus.
Okay.
Yeah. So Zykus and Rita.
Yes.
20 minutes later.
I wonder if they'll do Veraco's ex-fiance and that guy on the ship.
Oh,
yeah.
Uja?
Uja, and then it also said her name in Fejo, but I'm not going to go searching for it.
No.
I can't remember.
I can't
No.
remember.
It's okay.
Honestly, okay, so next time, before we do Maxu and Sickban, I will try to write out all the characters for us and their connections. So every time we do an episode that I prep for, I'm like, I didn't prep enough. Like,
I'm trying to think, are there any brothers left? And I don't think so. Well, there's Izzy and then there's Asiva.
Yeah, I don't think there's.
That'd be cool if we got a Ziva one where like somehow like a human guy appears, you know?
Something.
Yeah. It's not just women.
No, this isn't a spoiler. We've all read it. Vanessa's sister.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wait, I think she says the woman for Rhaego. Doesn't she?
Does she?
On her does she say it on Instagram?
That'd actually be kind of sweet if it was her sister, because then after she was with, asshole.
Yeah.
And I know I don't like a pregnancy trope, but I feel like Rhaego would be really good with kids.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point is so people make babies.
I know, but I mean, even with this one in particular, though, like Vanessa has birth control at the moment.
Yeah. God, could you imagine getting it on with Rhaego? Oh my God. I would be in shock. But luckily, these men are pleasers, so I wouldn't have to do much.
True. Very true.
But just the thought of like a 7-foot tall demon-looking alien with claws and horns and probably a dick to match. And we don't even know what kind of like skill he has, because some of the more alien guys, they have like
different like
like Veraco, he bites and there's venom.
Yeah. He also has the sway stuff.
Yeah. And then Maladek, he has that whole which we'll get into aphrodisiac thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I have notes about it. I have I know we're just talking about like hopefully having the author on one day and blah blah blah, but I do have kind of a bone to pick with like the planning of Maladek, because his character in Fejo does not make sense with his character in his own book.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the point.
I mean, is that the point though?
Well, no,
I don't know whether
I mean, like,
I don't know whether to get into it now or wait till we're into Maladek's book.
Okay. Well, we can wait.
We'll wait.
But I mean,
Sorry, go ahead.
Like, we're seeing Fejo's point of view, and then we're seeing like Katie's, and she's seeing him as a lover. So
wait, what?
Never mind. We'll get into it.
Kate? Wait, did you say Katie?
Isn't her name Katie?
From which
in
book?
Maladek?
Maladek's book.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Fejo's. I was like,
no,
her name's Vanessa.
No.
Do we read book descriptions or?
Yeah, we should go into
what we did
what
last
Fejo
time,
is first.
Okay, so Fejo, book description. She'll do anything to get home. He'll do anything to keep her with him forever. Vanessa doesn't have the luxury of building a happily ever after on a new planet like her fellow alien abduction survivors. She must get back to Earth. Her family needs her, and she can't afford to let them down again. So she'll find a way to break Clecanian law and get home, even if she has to marry and betray a sexy space pirate to do it. Fejo can't believe his luck when Vanessa, a gorgeous human with a sharp tongue, chooses him as her husband. He doesn't know what he did to win her favor, but he's determined to do everything in his power to make her happy. If only he could figure out why his alien bride is so reluctant to accept the kindness and pleasure he's so eager to offer. Vanessa's plan was simple until she started falling for her ridiculously charming husband. Now she has to figure out how to get home without breaking Fejo's heart or her own. Easy, right?
Oh, my sweet baby.
Oh, God. Why are the freaking book descriptions like so long for these damn books? I'm winded.
My sweet baby boy. So this is book 5.
Mm-hmm.
And up until this point, we've seen him in every other book.
Yeah, just about.
He dresses a bit gaudy.
He's very flashy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a flirt. He gets sexed with a lot, but he never gets picked for marriage.
Yeah.
And we found out that he's been like piling away a bunch of gifts for his future wife, and he keeps doing it, and then in the hopes that one day that he'll get picked, and he finally does. But yeah, like he comes off like cocky and gross, not gross, like everyone's like charming and attractive, but
he's extra though, like,
yeah,
because it makes a point in the beginning when they first meet that she's like, oh, you sure are full of yourself, and he's like, well, I'm just confident in my abilities.
I love how they meet.
Yeah, their first meeting is very funny.
Yeah, because
they're at like
a market,
like an outside market. Yeah.
And she picks up an item and she doesn't know what it is, and he's like, comes up, and it's just like, I would be better.
Yeah. The sex toy.
Yeah, then she realized she
I mean,
picks up
even
the
I
sex
was
toy.
confused at first. I'm like, huh? It's like, what does she have?
Yeah. Well, and then we find out our buddy Fejo has some enhancements.
We do find out later he has some enhancements. He's got ridges and some sort of inflated thing in his like pubic bone area, and he's got a piercing that also has a little remote.
It's like installed, right? It's
which part?
Like the thing in his dick. It's like installed, and it's like
the piercing. Yeah, is
it's like a robot.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it can swell, it vibrates and whatnot. Pulses, I think, was one of the other words that was used. And then there was a separate one where, so like the ridges on his dick are cosmetic. Because she asked him at one point, she's like, are these natural or like, did you get these added? And he's like, they're enhancements. And then that first time they do it, he inflates something in like his pubic bone area so it'll rub up against her.
Yeah.
So he basically got all kinds of enhancements for pleasure.
For his future wife.
Well, so, and like, doing the reread, like,
yeah,
I forgot that if he hadn't asked for citizenship from the queen or whatever for Tremonta, like he wouldn't have been able to be in the marriage ceremonies or anything like that. So that was part of their like agreement. He
turned his piracy into a legitimate business, but he's still a pirate.
Well, he's still a pirate because he's still working for Clenara, who he kind of grew up with for part of his childhood, and he is trying to help the queen of Tremonta take Clenara down. And her smuggling and illegal trading business.
And we find out Fejo is a lab-grown baby.
Yep. He is a test tube baby.
Yep.
He doesn't have parents because
they just used DNA.
They used like an old bank of ancient DNA that they found that they've been trying to make a baby out of, and he's the only one that survived.
Yeah, he's one of a kind, literally.
Yeah.
Or I think there's other few he says, but like they're very rare.
And his lines are different, or his markings are different than the other
Mhm.
Clecanians.
Mhm.
His are just lines, where the
Well,
other
he
ones
has
are all like swirly kind of
he
designs.
has what is like sensory
yeah,
areas.
yeah. They're basically sensory things. So when he's in the water, he can sense vibrations with them.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess kind of how like sharks can
Yeah.
send out
Yeah.
Sonar.
a little me. Oh, and he
He's
can
got
breathe
gills.
underwater because he has gills.
Yeah, he has gills.
He has gills. Should we backtrack a little bit? Back to the first meeting. So,
Mhm.
yeah, she's in the
Yes.
open market. She picks up a thing. She doesn't know what it is. He comes up behind her and he's like, I can do a better job. And he's like, what are you talking about? Or she's like, what are you talking about? And he like turns it on for her and she realizes she's holding a sex toy. And then later, when she is at home, she gets a package.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a different vibrator. And he wrote a little note that said, think of me while you use it.
Such a charmer.
Right? She's like, he went out and bought a sex toy that would
because he says
benefit
like,
me. And like,
based off my research, this will be more satisfying for you or
yes,
something like
yes.
that.
I'm just like, oh, how thoughtful.
Yeah, she was basically, she's like, that's the sexiest thing any man's ever done for me.
Like, if a guy did that in real life, I'd be like, how strange, but considerate.
And when she meets Fejo at the market, she doesn't know that who Fejo is. She just thinks he's some guy, whatever.
Yeah.
And she's trying to get off planet. And there's been a plan that's been put in place where she just needs to get to this specific port. And then this guy will take her to, or smuggle her back to Earth or whatever. And she finds out that she needs to hitch a ride with this guy Fejo, but he's joined the marriage ceremony thing. So she decides to do the marriage ceremony thing so she can pick him. And then she realizes, before that, I think Rhaego comes over and he's like, I have a picture.
Yeah.
And shows him. And she's like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Like, what are the chances?
Yeah.
The guy I met in the market, little horn dog, is the guy that I need to fake marry so I can get off the planet.
Well, because up to this point, because we meet Vanessa in book 2, right? When they all get rescued.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We meet Vanessa in book 2 when they all get rescued with Alice.
Yes.
And Vanessa's having a really hard time adjusting to Clecanian life.
Yeah, I think they say it's been about a month since they got rescued.
Yeah. She's withdrawn. She's not eating.
Yeah.
She's not socializing.
Not sleeping.
She's not taking care of herself. She's really determined to get back to Earth, but of course they're telling her there's no way that's possible. So doesn't Alice, by way of Theo, find a way for her to get off the planet?
Yeah, I feel like I think it's a friend of like Theo and Rhaego's who will meet her at the port and take her to Earth.
Because Alice was worried that Vanessa would do something drastic that would get her killed or imprisoned or something. So they're like, we gotta find a way.
Yeah, I think it was mostly like, what is it, Jade, Daisy, and Rita that were the ones I feel like are primarily with her. No, and they all know that.
She's not with Jade. It's Alice, Daisy.
Oh, that's right. Sorry,
Meg.
You're right.
Is it Meg there too?
Rita. No, I think it's just
Meg's name hasn't been brought up. No,
Meg.
Meg wasn't brought up in Fejo at all.
No.
Oh,
you get well, so like, what was it, Alice?
No, but I mean, no, she's not in the 4th one. The 3rd one's
Meg is Maxu,
so we wouldn't hear that. Yeah,
but she's in the next.
Hasn't
one.
Meg been living with them?
She's been living at the Pearl Temple, but she doesn't really show up at all in this book. It's in
okay.
Which one is it?
In
Ozed?
Oh, is it Ozed? No, that's right. She's with Ozed.
Yeah, she's the one that shows up at that other city or whatever with Ozed and Alex.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But
see, it's all becoming like, because all these timelines are parallel.
It all meshes.
There's so much happening.
Alice, Daisy, and Rita all know the real reason that Vanessa wants to get back. They know she had a fight with her sister, and that's why she's really torn up and not adjusting well.
And her sister, I think, is sick.
Yes, her sister has a brain tumor.
Yeah.
And she has a niece.
Yeah, she has a niece. Her sister has an abusive alcoholic ex. So, like, if something happens to her, the niece would go to him. She has a brain tumor. And I think you find out later in the book that she was given like 6 months, possibly, to survive. So Vanessa's feeling the time crunch of needing to get back. You do get a brief interaction with Vanessa and Alex at the marriage ceremony before Alex and Ozed are reunited at the end of their book.
Yes.
Yeah, they're at the same marriage ceremony.
Yeah.
And then we do see it from Vanessa's point of view, and she's like, "Hey, it's that one girl. Ooh, she looks bad."
Yeah. both of them are like,
both of them.
She looks kind of rough.
Yeah.
And then of course I think it didn't mention it in this book, but in Alex's book, she sees like Ozed and I feel like Vanessa's like, oh, he doesn't look that good. Because he's like all bedraggled and ran there real quick.
You're like, ew, why would you want that one?
Yeah, she's like, okay.
And of course, Alex is like, him, I pick him.
I want him. What's it called?
Doesn't Fejo at one point talk to Ozed or no? Is he just kind of like, kind of surprised to see you here?
Not in Fejo's book, but maybe in Ozed's. I don't remember. It wasn't in Fejo's.
Yeah, not in Fejo's.
I do find it funny that like, so she picks Fejo. She's waiting outside his door for the
during the testing
room?
Yeah. The testing, yes.
She doesn't want to go in.
She doesn't want to go in, but she's also like fighting off other females that want to come in and test him out. Yeah. And then when she finally does, he's just like lounging on a couch, butt ass naked.
Dick out.
Yes, dick out.
Like Krampus.
Like Krampus.
Like a gold covered Krampus.
Yes.
Yeah, because there are women there who are like repeat customers.
Yeah, they repetitively test Fejo out.
Yeah, some of them are pouting because they're like, I test him every year.
Yeah. But he overhears Zykus when the one lady storms in or whatever. He overhears Zykus be like, she's putting a through offer. Like, you can't go in there. She wanted privacy and blah, blah, blah. And then Fejo hears that and he's like, okay, I'm not going to sleep with anybody. Like, he tells, I forgot what her name was.
Doesn't matter. She a hoe.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. But he's like, I can't.
I mean, not to slut shame, but we don't like her.
Right. She did not respect boundaries, okay?
No, she did not.
She did not.
And she was gonna fight.
Well, like how she's like, I figured I could just join them. And Vanessa's like, I don't know whether to be flattered or like pissed off.
Yeah.
Flattered that you just want to have a casual threesome in the testing room, but like also I don't want you in here.
No, I bet the moment they got in there, she'd be like kicking Vanessa out and be like, what are you doing here?
Well, I like how, the Clecanians can smell the women's arousal. And at one point, when Vanessa, they're getting ready, like he comes to pick her up to take her to the ship and all that kind of stuff. It's been 3 days since the testing. And he's doing stuff and like, he explains later that he has a better smell than most Clecanians, but she's wearing 3 pairs of underwear trying to block out.
Because she is determined not to have sex with him.
Yes.
Actually, wait, no, go ahead.
No, okay. I just find it funny that like they are specifically given underwear that are supposed to help with not being able for the men to not be able to smell when they're aroused, but like it does not work for any of the humans.
No.
Yeah. It is not those they need thicker underwear apparently for us. Like I don't know. But I feel like they're supposed to be wearing these underwear and like it doesn't work for anybody.
No.
They're always like, I can still smell you. And I'm like, what's the point of this underwear if you can still
Oh my
smell
God,
it?
like,
I guess it dampens it a little bit. I don't know.
but like, think of the implications. Like, if they have a enhanced sense of smell, like they can be like, babe, when's the last time you showered?
Oh God, that too. Yeah.
I would be so embarrassed.
Yeah.
I would be
Well,
more
'cause, like-
concerned with the fact that like, so like, okay, if I lived on Clecania and I had a job, I wouldn't be able to listen to my spicy audiobooks at work. Especially not Morning Glory Milking Farm.
You mean you couldn't read porn at work?
Nope.
How inconsiderate.
Could not listen to porn at work.
Oh my God. Well, and then like, just like, I don't know, like I go to the gym and I get sweaty and.
Oh, that'd probably be a turn on though.
Well, okay, who's to say? But,
I feel like all of them are very primal.
yeah, they do have that about them. Which, you know, I can appreciate as a lady. But then other times I just want to be like, can you not always be smelling me? Because
Right.
I just want some privacy. I'm glad that human men can't do that in real life.
Yeah.
Same.
Same.
Be very awkward at work.
Not that I'm walking around like that, but
No, but it happens.
it's,
Have you seen, this is a tangent, have you seen, there's a clip, I forgot who the actress or who the famous person's name is that did an interview on like Conan O'Brien's show. And it's, I feel like it's been going around a lot again. And she's talking about people like men, like what is it, man spreading, like sitting with their legs wide open. And she's talking about like
Didn't you
needing to air out your junk and stuff. She's like, I have stuff that needs to air out too. Like she makes a comment. She's like, you know, I'll be walking down the street and I forgot how she described the man, but she describes an attractive man or whatever. And she's like, and he was walking his dog and he said, good girl. And now I've got a problem. Like, now it's getting swampy. Like, I forget what exactly she says.
Yeah. Why do you think we wear dresses in the summertime?
But it was so funny.
Does he kiss her? I can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah, at the testing.
They
He's
kiss
like,
at the testing.
I heard these humans do something. And
yes.
And he kisses her.
I think, does he also, so he kisses her in the testing room. He also kisses her like goodbye when she gets into the
she's like, I want to go by myself to the Pearl Temple. Like, I'll see you in 3 days when we take off. And he's like, okay, how about a kiss goodbye to hold us over?
Yeah.
And so they kiss her again.
Because isn't he trying to like make moves on her in the little pod? And she's
he was
no.
like, yeah, he was like, can't I pleasure you before you go? She's like, what? No. He's like, but I can smell that you're aroused. And she's like, excuse me?
And he's like, let me take care of that for you.
Let me take care of that for you. I like also like after he comes and picks her up. Before that. So yeah, she asked for the 3 days to say goodbye to her friends. And then she uses that 3 days to get any of the other women that want to contact their families to like write letters. Yeah. And she says she'll get them to them. Then 3 days he comes and picks her up and I find it funny, like his internal like struggle of like, I don't know how to read her. I think she's lying at these times, but I don't know for sure. And then he's like, oh, maybe they are easier to read. But he's also trying to gauge like how he should act instead of just like being himself or whatever. Because he says one of the lines, he's like, I'd act more like a bad boy if that's what she's into. And I'm like, oh, sir.
Like, what do you want? I'll be it.
Yeah.
What do you want? Yeah. But like, okay, when he finds out that he's officially been picked.
Oh, I know.
It is the cutest thing.
Yes.
This man literally like, woohoo!
In
all his naked glory is just so excited.
Yeah.
Well, like, also, you find out in this book because, like I mentioned earlier, like, being part of the marriage ceremonies was, like, part of his deal with the queen and stuff. Like, he didn't go to the schooling that the rest of, like, Clecanian males go to. Because technically, he's from a different planet.
Well, and he's, like, he's also, you know, the only one.
Well, that too,
And,
yeah.
I don't think,
But
I don't know what
he
planet.
didn't grow up in Tremonta or whatever.
Yeah.
With a regular Clecanian upbringing.
By being like a spy for the queen, she granted him citizenship and to join in the marriage ceremonies, even though he never went to husbandry school.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when she gets on his ship, he's just internally he's like screaming.
Yes.
He's so excited.
Yes.
I know, because he's like, someone finally picked me. Everyone's always testing him, but no one ever picks him.
Yeah.
My sweet baby.
Which makes it like all that more heartbreaking. And of course, Vanessa feels bad, and she voices in her own head that she feels bad that like she's, you know, pretty much using this man to try to get off the planet.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, but she doesn't know that his excitement is genuine. She thinks he's doing it just because that's what they've been told to do for their wives.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he wants to give her like a bunch of presents right away.
Yeah, he gives her that necklace right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's like, there's more where that came from. I have so much for you, my wife.
Yeah.
Like,
it was really cute. You find out later also that there's some of the crew that have been doing the same thing. Like they've been gathering gifts in the hopes that one day that they'll be allowed to be a part of the marriage ceremonies and like find a wife as well.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I've been collecting all these things to give her. And I'm like, oh, you're all so sweet.
What is it? Like when penguins present pebbles to their
yes.
mate? That's so cute. Like a little rock collection.
Yes.
Is she the only woman/female on the ship?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, so like, wait, the day Vanessa arrives is also the day that Maladek and his friend arrive, right?
Yes. Yes. They were supposed to show up earlier, but they didn't. They end up showing up the day that they're supposed to be leaving port.
Mm-hmm.
And Fejo thinks they're suspicious from the start.
Oh, well, yeah, because he knows they're Clenara's
men. Yeah.
So he knows he can't trust them, especially him being a double agent.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, they're like, no, we're legit. Yeah. We're gonna be fine. But then they start fights.
Yeah, they start some issues.
Yeah.
It's like one point, the friend that, even though I just listened to the book again today, I can't remember his name. Irrelevant. But he basically tries to make a move on Vanessa, like out in the cafeteria or whatever. And
Capra.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Fejo like I just walks up all kind of like smiley, like, what's going on here? And then he fucking slams his head on the table, breaks off his horn, and stabs it through his hand.
Yes.
Well, because
I'm like, I love it.
Doesn't he say like, you know, I don't even smell him on you or something like that?
He's like, why are you touching my wife? And he's like, oh, well, I didn't cinch you on her, so I thought she was fair game. And he's like, excuse me? I don't think
he
so.
He fucked around and found out.
Yeah, he did.
He found out.
Oh, God.
You fuck around.
I do like, too, that he looks at the med guy and says 7 hours and then you can heal him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, don't help him.
Don't help him. He has to suffer for 7 hours before he can get healed.
Well, like internally, Vanessa's like, "Oh my god, that's so hot," but externally, she's like, "Why the fuck did you do that?"
Yeah,
like,
she runs off.
She freaks out.
Runs off.
Yeah.
My notes for that part are: "Fuck yeah, Fejo, kick his ass."
Yes, protect me.
But yes, she does run off in fear, and he goes to go find her and apologize. Well, he apologizes that, what is he? She goes, are you sorry that you did it, or are you sorry that I saw? He goes, I'm sorry that you had to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because then he says, like, I'm a pirate captain. Like, he can't be
soft.
lenient.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I can't have him disrespect me like that in front of everybody and just be like, I'm giving you a warning, guy.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Well, he also tells her, like, that he has to show that kind of brutality or whatever because, like, if he shows any sort of leniency, the other people in his crew could take that as, like, oh, well, if he got away with holding her hand, maybe I can try worse, you know?
Yeah.
Or more, which after you, like, meet some of the crew, I don't think they would, but
yeah,
I see his point.
But then you have to remember, they're all pirates.
I mean, they're pirates because they kind of, like, have to be. Like, you find out that all of them, the majority of them are
criminals, I think. They did something,
They're criminals of some kind. That's why they can't participate in the marriage ceremonies and stuff unless they're, I feel like I don't know, maybe they give them a certain amount of time because all of them are hopeful that they'll eventually be able to. So,
yeah.
Like, I don't know.
But I mean, sometimes, like, especially in their first few days of getting to know each other, Vanessa's like, what the hell was that? And, he's just like, pirate.
Yeah. He's like, Captain.
Pirate. I think, so Fejo is getting frustrated because Vanessa is keeping her distance. She's not inviting him to her bed. She's not accepting his gifts. She's reluctantly hanging out with him. And he's trying to, like, think of ways for her to, just be more friendly.
Yeah.
He's trying to think of ways that he can, crack her open a bit because he's so determined to be a good husband.
Yeah.
And he does put on personas, kind of just testing it out to see what she responds to, even though that's not who he is. And I forget, since you just did a reread, you can tell me. But I forget at what point they start to relate to each other a bit.
So
is it?
I think after the Capra thing, right?
So after the Capra thing,
because she goes. Oh no! I think he, like, goes to. She's afraid of space, right? That space room.
That's what I was about to say. She's afraid of space. She doesn't like looking at space.
That was before the Capra thing, or whatever the hell his name is.
Oh, okay. Because
that's how she knows the Capra thing happens, and that's
and
the
then
room
she runs back
to.
Yeah, and then they talk, and she's like, "Okay, well, I need space now.
Yes,
I'll meet you in the room."
Well, so he goes to the room, and he finds the letters,
and she goes back to the room. She's like, "I think I'm just gonna tell him."
Yeah,
but then he finds the letters, and so then that, like, causes tension again because he's kind of upset.
Well, she tries to explain herself, and he's like, "No, don't want to hear it." And I'm like, I get that the book would have ended right now, but, like, you should have let her speak. But so there's the Capra thing. There's the he takes her down on a port, and she runs off. Yes, and she runs into the female slug thing, gets the paralytic goo all over her. While she's under that is when she opens up to him and explains, like, everything in detail.
She has
about,
a
like,
fever
the niece
as well.
Yeah. He takes care of her because she's sick and whatever because of the slime stuff. But that's when she opens up to him about everything, and then that's when they kind of get closer. So, like, when she finally comes out of that, they have, like, a fight, and so he leaves, and that's when he fights with his friend Uja, and then he goes into the pool, and then she goes to find him, and then Uja lets her into the pool area, and then she sees he's underwater, and she, like, jumps in to save him
because she doesn't know he can breathe underwater.
Yeah, she doesn't know he can breathe underwater. She just sees him, like, laying on the bottom of the pool, and she freaks out, and he's just taking a nap.
Yeah, he is.
But that's
and
when
then he can feel feel when she's in there because of his little sensory things.
Yeah. So, but this is when we finally they kind of have opened up to each other. He ends up having to kind of save her because she gets weighted down by her wet clothes.
She can't swim.
She
went to
swimmer.
save him, but he ended up saving her at the end.
Yeah. But then he's got like a cut on his head from the fight that he had with Uja, and she's like, we need to get that healed. And he's like, oh, there's a thing right here. And she like heals him, and they kind of have a moment. And then that's when she introduces him to 69.
Yeah, because isn't he naked in the pool?
He is naked in the pool, and she's like, can you put some clothes on? He goes, I'm comfortable. Why would I do that? I'm perfectly fine.
No, I will not.
I will not put on clothes. I'm sorry. But yeah, so she introduces him to what 69 is, and his mating marks appear. And then, of course, there's something wrong with the ship, and he has to go take care of it.
Well, I think she starts to touch his arms when they're kissing, and that's where his sensory lines are. And he's like, be careful with that. And she's like, what do you mean? And he's like, don't touch those unless you want something to happen.
Well, there's at one point he's like, you can't keep touching those or this will be over before it starts.
Yeah. Because she's like exploring, and she's like never seen that on someone before.
Yeah.
He's just like, yeah.
He's like, those are sensitive.
Yeah. It's just like one long line that goes like over and around his whole body, right? Something like
that. I think it's like goes down his arms, the side.
Yeah, they're just like straight. They're just straight lines.
Yeah.
Whereas the other Clecanians have like swirlies
down his legs.
Yes.
But the swirlies, they're not any type of sensory thing.
No, I don't think so. He's also got them on his sides.
Yeah, he has them on his sides too. Because I think she like tickles his sides.
Yeah, she touches his sides at one point.
Yeah, and he's like, no, it tickles. Yeah, because as we know, Clecanian women do not go down on men. And so whenever one of these sweet little baby boys is introduced to a blowjob,
yeah,
it is the cutest thing. They're like, whoa, that's cool.
They're like, wait, you do that?
And they're like, where has this been all my life?
Clecanian women don't usually do that. Well,
I like how well, I'm not Clecanian.
I like how so when they get back to their room or whatever, because she gets, they get interrupted afterwards, and he finds out he has his mate marks, and then Uja's banging on the door like, hey, we need the captain to get us into port or whatever. So she gets dressed, goes back to the room. She's kind of freaking out because his mate marks popped up and whatever.
They did stuff.
Yeah. And so, like, finally, when he gets back, I think, is when they finally, like, actually have sex for the first time, if I remember correctly. I like how he, I made a note that, like, he, like, gets her on the bed and takes out his knife. One of the times they do it, I think it's this time. He, like, gets her on the bed and he takes out one of his knives that's, like, in the bed somewhere, hiding one of the hiding places he has in his room. And she's like, where the hell did you get that? And he's like, it's my bed. Like, they're all over the place. And he like cuts her
bed knife.
He cuts her dress off, cuts off like her straps and her underwear. And she's like, the fact that this turned me on, like something's wrong with me that turned me on so much. Oh, and then he tosses which, girl, same. Because he does all that, and then he tosses the knife up, catches it by the blade, and throws it into like the bedpost. And I'm like, excuse me, what?
Like, and I'm done. You didn't even have to touch me,
right? I was like, okay, I can go to bed now.
It happened. We're there.
Right. You keep that up. This won't take long. But I thought that was a funny note because, like, in her head, she was like, "There's that I don't even want to process what kind of problems I have because that turned me on so much."
There are no problems, girl.
Right.
It's okay. Wait till we get to sick then. Then you'll start questioning yourself.
This is also the time when he shows her his updates, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I got it done, especially for you, my wife.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because the piercing on the end can, like, blow up to a little, I don't know, it adds an extra little bubble that hits, like, human women's internal G-spot.
Yes, he studied.
Yes,
he did his homework.
He studied. And then, yeah, the pelvic thing that he has or got installed will rub up against, you know, her clit or whatever while they're doing it. I feel like it was, I don't know, it was important. I feel like it's important that she put it in there when she did, like, all that stuff that he has enhanced, because later he, like, hands her the controller and she, like, tosses it on the floor. She's like, "I just want you." And he's just like,
I know.
Oh. He's like, "I got all these things for you, but you just want me."
Well, because one thing that both of our lovers share is, you know, they struggle with insecurities and being vulnerable and putting up fronts to keep people away.
Yes.
And, you know, it is through being with each other that we find out Fejo is not the arrogant, cocky bastard that we thought. He's actually this sweet, cuddly little marshmallow man.
Yes.
Who is also gorgeous.
Yes. I will say, though, I do not like the way all his clothes and stuff are described. I'm just like, no. I don't like it.
It's giving like court of Louis the 14th.
Something. I just, every time it describes like his like crazy jewelry and outfits and stuff, I just think of like Captain Jack Sparrow, but like Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
Like with chains.
He only puts that on when he's being
this is
Captain Fejo.
This is
when he's on his ship and when he's with her, he just has on like a shirt and pants.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah. Because although he does like disregard his persona around his crew, he doesn't entirely let his guard down because he's still their captain.
Yeah.
But you know, like he's keeping up the facade that he's like this pirate douche.
Yeah. Well, and like at one point, I forget. He asked one of the days, like after they've, you know, they're doing good, whatever. I can't remember if this is after he told her, like, I've altered our course, we're going to Earth or whatever, or if it's before or after that, I don't know. But he has a day where he has to like work all day, and so she's like exploring and hanging out with different members of the crew and like makes friends with. She goes to the cafeteria. And that's when Maladek approaches her and was like, "How did you get his mate marks to appear?" And he's like, "Were you having sex?" And she's like, "That is none of your business." And then eventually she's like, "Yeah, we were. Okay, shut up." And then she basically tells him off, whatever. And so some of the other crew like sees it happen. They're like cheering her on.
Yeah.
So she goes and sits with them and she's talking with them and trying to get to know them and stuff. And then Fejo's like, "I'm working my ass off here and y'all are all just sitting around talking to my wife." Like, she's like, "You can calm down." Like, she's telling them all about like Earth and
she makes friends with the grumpy guy who does all the drawings on the ship.
the dragon guy or whatever that does all the
and they're like they don't tell him not to do it because it seems to calm him down. And also it helps us navigate the ship better.
Yeah. But yeah, I like how she makes friends with the crew, and then through that she's like, I don't think Fejo realizes like how much his men like actually care about him and respect him and all of that. So I thought that was good.
Because he thinks they're all just like one day away from stabbing him in the back.
Yeah.
Except his winged
Uja
friend.
Yeah,
Uja. Yeah. Who's like his first mate, second in command, something like that.
Yeah. It's like his best friend from the planet he's from.
Yeah.
Which I guess we should mention. The planet he's from is like a bunch of islands, basically. And all of the majority of the race on that planet have wings to be able to get around. He does not have wings, but like the ancient race that he is, experimentally descendant from, I think at one point says like they actually like lived underwater.
Yeah.
So he didn't need the wings to get around, but he was always envious of them because he was surrounded by people that had him and he was different.
Yeah, he was discriminated against kind of for not having wings as well.
Yeah, poor sweet boy. He would grow up and be like, oh, if only I could fly.
I know.
But now he flies a spaceship.
Yeah.
Wasn't part of their fight, like, prior to them getting all lovey-dovey, was like, if you had told me your intention, I would have taken you to Earth anyway. You didn't have to lie to me.
I can't remember if
there's some point where he says like, I would have done it for you.
Well, at some point he's like, if you had told me the truth, like I could have helped you, whether it had been like him take her or whatever. But because she like had lied to him, and there was at one point where when she tries to escape at the port and they get back and he's having to undress her and he finds that, she had the letters wrapped around her and stuff. And he's like, I should burn these. And I'm like, don't do that, Fejo.
Yeah.
You can't come back from that.
Don't you do it?
Can't come back from that.
I think he was upset, but then once she opened up to him,
yes,
he realized that she was doing it on good intentions.
Yeah.
And so she had asked him and he was like, well, I already set course to Earth. And she's like, oh my God, you're gonna do it for me.
Yeah.
When did they say they love each other?
So the first time he says I love you, she's actually asleep.
Oh,
I think.
Because he's also worried about like scaring her off because they've gotten to this good place and it kind of feels too good to be true to him.
Yeah.
Well, I do appreciate the fact that like, especially after his mate Marks show up, she's no longer like dead set on like staying on Earth if that's what her sister chooses. So like the plan then kind of adjusts where she's like, okay, the plan is going to be get down to Earth, get Julie, bring her back here, and then heal her. And then let her decide, like, do you and your daughter want to stay on the ship and travel the universe, or do you want to go back to Earth? But I won't be coming back with you because I'll be staying with Fejo. And like the fact that she actually like voices that for him, I was like, oh, thank goodness, because I was like, I can only take so much like not communicating and not telling each other shit. Like, if we add another thing onto this, I'm gonna be cranky.
Also, who wouldn't want to explore the universe and live on a pirate ship?
Yeah,
like, that sounds incredible. I mean, I don't have to go back to work.
Yeah,
and just like live my life.
Well, like imagine like you have no family. The only family you have is gonna tell you like, I can never see you again unless you come with me. Yeah, I'm gonna come with you. Are you kidding me? Put me in the cryo tube.
Yeah.
So they're able to covertly get her sister. Vanessa puts the letters in a mailbox.
We're skipping,
and they get her niece to go ahead.
We're skipping the slave planet. The CLEG happens first.
Yes.
Oh.
So there's a problem. They're on their way to Earth. But because he abandoned the route that Clenara told him to go. Yeah, that's when Maladek and Capra had to take action.
Yes.
And like take over.
Yeah, so they end up landing on the CLEG planet and
oh, well, the creatures on that planet play a song.
They screech like some sort of hypnotic
kind of siren. Siren, I guess.
Yeah, because I think they're like fish people.
Yeah, they're like fish people.
Yeah, so I guess
they don't live underground or in the water or whatever, but
yeah,
they are.
It puts everyone in a trance except for Vanessa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because humans are immune to alien stuff.
And then Vanessa knocks out Uja and drags him to the only soundproof room in the ship.
Yeah.
And she's like, she gets him up and he's out of his trance and she's like, we got to try to do something. And then so they kind of come up with a plan. They stuff his ears with, I think it was bread or something.
Yeah.
I think it was bread. She like goes to the cafeteria and gets bread. And then Maladek's like, oh, there's a few missing. So he goes to like try to find them. And I guess there was some crew that were down in wherever. And then he finds them walking down the hall.
Pretending, yeah.
Yeah. And then what's his face?
Capra?
Yeah, Capra is like, oh, like Clenara said we could have whatever we wanted, so hide the human. I'm taking her.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey. And then
icky.
Maladek grabs her and like takes her to a room and he's like, you can stop pretending now. And she's just like, mates are supposed to be sacred to y'all. What are you doing? Like, you have to help me and yada, yada, yada. And he's just like, nah, not going to do it. Locks her in the room. She finds a butter knife and pries the door open. And then he's there. And so he takes her back to the thing and they're going outside because that's where all the crew is and whatnot. And Capra's like, what are you doing? I told you to put her up. He goes, she was still on the ship. And then she realizes like, oh, he's going to help us, escape somehow. And then this is when they call Clenara. The Sea Legion are like, thanks for the extra workers. Here's your shipments.
Run a slave labor planet.
Yeah. Well, so basically the way their planet, like they have, I don't know what exactly it is, but like if a ship flies too close, I guess the ships pick up that siren thing.
Yeah. I think they make it seem like a distress signal, but
signal
it's really
something,
not.
Yeah. But then the ships end up getting pulled into like the planet and end up crashing, and then they basically take all this whoever survives and turns them into slaves. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Clenara basically trades Fejo and his entire crew for the shipment that the Sea Legion were holding for her, since he altered course. Even though she knows, like, that's that I'm assuming she knows at that point that Fejo and her are actual mates. Because I assume Maladek and what's his face have told her that she's not just his wife, like they're actual mates.
She even says to leave a message like, "Oh, tell Fejo it was me," and they're like, "Oh, well, he's a captain." And
tell Cersei it was me. Yeah. Yeah.
But they're gonna kill him because he's a captain, and they find that captains are trouble because they'll rally up their crew.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, okay, fine." But Vanessa's like, "No," and I think she runs to Maladek to tell him to do it, to drown him.
Yeah. And Maladek knows that he can breathe underwater.
Well, I don't think Maladek doesn't know.
Yeah, no one knows.
Her and Uja know.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah. And so, she tells Maladek to drown him or whatever.
I don't know why. Right?
Yeah.
He doesn't know why.
But... Yeah, he doesn't understand why. He's like, okay, I guess I'll do it. But then he realizes, I guess while he's doing it, he realizes like the gills. And then because he's underwater, the hypnotic thing is not affecting him that much anymore. And I feel like, doesn't Maladek tell him something?
Yeah, he says, I think like
Maladek tells him what's going on.
Or something.
Yeah,
he's like, pretend.
Yeah. And then
he like fakes it like he can't, like he's struggling and then he fakes it.
Yeah, and then he lays limp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a knife that he finds.
No, my husband.
Yeah. I think she gets knocked out. I think she hits
Capra knocks her out and takes her onto the ship and tries to leave. And because Maladek, or I think it's after Fejo pops up and then Uja, starts helping, and then Maladek starts helping, and they're like all fighting and whatever. And that's when I think he grabs Vanessa takes her on the ship and like tries to take off.
Yeah, I think when they're all fighting, he takes off.
Yeah. I can't remember what the other... the ship that was dropping off the shipment, I guess, was still there or whatever. And so Maladek is like, I'll hold him off. Y'all get to the ship and get your mate. So they get to that other guy's ship and escape that way. And then I don't know how much... I can't remember how much time passes. It's obviously not much time.
I don't think she knows. She's just like, I don't know how much time passes because
she's locked in a
trays.
room. Yeah.
Who knows if it's been like 3 days or not? She's not sure.
Yeah.
But eventually they end up where they're at, and she finally meets Clenara.
Ugh. She gives me the creeps.
I know.
I do not like Clenara. Which
I love how Vanessa knows how to like rile her up. Get her upset.
Get her upset. Manipulate her for once. Because that doesn't happen often to her.
No.
And then, the last minute, Fejo and the crew show up and rescue her and the shipment. And they find out the shipment is a bunch of human women.
Yeah.
So Clenara's been helping out with the like insurgent people or whatever. And
I love how it's Vanessa too that catches her and is about to like kill her, but Fejo stops her. It's like, no, we need her alive so we can arrest her.
She's like, ugh.
I know.
When does he sprout wings?
He does?
Doesn't he get wings? He doesn't get wings?
I don't think so.
Are you sure? Why did I think he got wings? What am I thinking of?
So.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Because I don't.
So I re-listened up to 45 minutes left because I didn't get to finish.
Yeah, I don't think he gets wings. I think the epilogue is like them.
Maybe I kept thinking he was gonna get wings and then he didn't.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google it. Does Fejo get wings?
I don't think so.
I'm starting to think not either. I think in my head I wanted him to get wings.
Oh, Google does not know.
Yeah, I'm starting to think he doesn't. But maybe I imagine, or maybe, like I said, maybe I was wanting him to sprout wings. But yeah, so they rescue the women. They arrest Clenara. Then they head to Earth. And that's when they get...
they're happy ever after.
They get her sister and tell her the situation. They mail the letters for all the other women. And then they put her sister in cryo because she does decide to stay with them. So they can get her to a place where they can actually heal her. And then I just love how her little niece is just like...
obsessed with aliens,
just totally handling all of it just so well, and like hangs out with the dragon guy while he's doing his like art stuff, and he's letting her help. Yeah, she colors it in and whatnot. I was like, I fucking love this. And then my favorite part at the end when Vanessa shows Fejo that she got mating marks tattooed on her.
The dragon guy tattooed him for her.
Loved it so much.
I love that.
It's my favorite. Favorite.
And Fejo's just so happy because he finally found someone to love him.
Yes.
And he's like, I'm never alone anymore.
When he saw the tattoos too, I think he was just like, I think I get it what you mean by like sometimes it's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
Of like how it's not always jewelry that you need to give.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh.
It was a very unmaterialistic thing for her to do.
It was cute.
So we're an hour and 10 in, and we still have not gotten to Maladek.
I know, but Maladek's a short one.
Yeah,
I don't have much to say about Maladek other than my couple of gripes that I have.
Why did Maladek get a book? That was my...
Well, so that's where I think, like, I don't know if it was just to kill time, give us something, because like Maladek, I mean, sure, like we didn't know what happened to him, but I also wasn't worried about what happened to him.
Yeah, we didn't care.
Especially because, like I said, the way he acts in Fejo's book is one way, and there's some stuff that he says in Fejo's book where I'm like, this doesn't make sense with what the story that you tell in your book. exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I feel like it wasn't very planned out well.
Well, it was a novella.
It was a novella. Should I read?
Yeah.
Do you want me to read the description of this one?
Yeah, let's read it.
So Fejo and Vanessa have happily ever after. And then this one is Releasing Maladek. So, turns out crash landing into love is possible. Katie is content with her post-alien abduction life. Not only has she found work as a royal attendant, but her current assignment on a galaxy cruise is enjoyable too, until the ship is brought down by a malevolent species. Now she must rescue her friends and escape a hostile planet all by herself. Then she crosses paths with a sexy stranger who changes everything. Forced labor in an enemy prison camp was nowhere on Maladek's agenda, but his own troubles will have to wait because against all odds, his mate is here. Now he has to focus on getting her to safety and convincing her that fated mates are real. It would all be so much easier if he had more experience being a hero. The circumstances are dire. Their timing couldn't be worse. Even if they manage to escape their captors, is a happily ever after possible for Katie and Maladek? They're about to find out. So, according to Goodreads, this is a novella that was originally published in 2022 for a charity anthology. So, it says now features 2 all-new bonus chapters and an epilogue. So, I listened to this, so maybe I didn't get part of that.
I got an epilogue. On the Kindle edition.
Yeah, I got an epilogue. But like, so here's my gripe real quick with this. So like in using Fejo, Capra makes a comment about, Fejo shouldn't have, betrayed Clenara, whatever. And Maladek's like, Clenara's been pushing Fejo away, all on her own. And I'm like, hold up. I obviously didn't catch it on my first read through because it was irrelevant. But after listening to Releasing Maladek, I'm like, wait a second. In Releasing Maladek, you explain the whole reason you're in the situation that you're in and why you did the job that you did was because, and I confirmed with Elaine before we recorded, he had a cousin who owed debts to Clenara. And in order to clear those debts, he agreed to do this job for her. But in using Fejo, it makes it out like he has worked for her like multiple times. I felt like, especially with that line, like, how would you know that Clenara has been pushing Fejo away all on her own if you're only doing this one job for her? I feel like that
maybe he just knew of her,
or maybe it's just like, well, I think she says she uses their kind a lot, so maybe it's just known that like.
Okay, maybe
because I think he's there when they're talking, and he's like. He said, like, well, I've asked you thousands of times, to be with me and you keep rejecting me. So, like, he knows.
Okay, maybe.
He overhears it.
He does overhear that conversation, but I don't know. I felt like the way he acted in Fejo, he was very familiar with Clenara, and I felt like the way he acted in his own book is that he wasn't very familiar with her. Like, it was supposed to be just a one-off, like, job. Like, I'm not a bad guy. I just had to do this for a family member. But then I was like... But then how do you know this?
So let's talk about what Maladek looks like. We mentioned it briefly. He's giant
purple.
He's like purple with red eyes, giant horns.
Yes. Yeah. He has these plates all over his body.
Yes.
And his knuckles. Because his people are known for mining gems and they use their hands to punch down walls.
Yes, to punch through rocks.
So that they can mine. And actually, yeah, they are very penguin-like. The men bring gems to the women
that they're interested in,
as in hopes that they would pick
I said the same thing in my notes.
Yeah. And then Katie's
like what I thought was very interesting in the story.
Yeah.
She is definitely the more interesting character in this.
She's human. She was abducted, but not with the women but it was like when she was like 14.
She was 15.
Yeah. 15.
So she was 15, and this is 15 years later, so she's like 30. And she witnessed one of the snake guy aliens taking
lizard guys.
Yeah, the lizard guys taking her like neighbor or something across the street.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And then they take her because she saw them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then, she ends up getting, I can't remember what the planet was called, but she's like the only human on that planet. And she ends up working in the like royal household.
She's like a royal attendant for these like bird-like people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are very colorful, and they all sing instead of talking because they don't like, their ears are very sensitive and they don't like harsh sounds.
Yeah.
So they don't like when Katie talks.
Yeah, she has to like talk really quiet and soft.
She has to like be really quiet or like sing while she talks.
I would not survive.
They don't like hair.
Yeah,
they think her hair is offensive.
Yeah.
It's the other attendants, the other people that live on that planet.
No, they said it's the prince.
Oh, I thought it was her friend that said that he doesn't like her hair.
They don't like it either because I think the prince doesn't like it. Because I think they say her friend is constantly reminding her, like,
well, he's constantly grossed out about her hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has like a little curl
she
that
has like
falls out.
Big blonde curly hair, and she has to pack it underneath that headpiece.
Yeah. I was just thinking of it as like a nun outfit is what she's like basically wearing.
I can see that.
Yeah, that's what because she does wear like a pretty drab gray dress.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, she has to be seen and not heard, and they hate when she talks, and they hate her hair, and she's human, so they're kind of like, you're weird. And so far she's never met any other humans.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
And she has no idea what's happening on Clecania.
No.
Yeah, they're on some kind of like it made me think of like some kind of UN retreat.
Well, they're on like some sort of like basically like a cruise ship.
Like cruise, yeah.
It was some new ship, and the prince is going on it, and then he throws a fit that he wants to go back home because he's bored. So they alternate their course, and then guess what? They end up near the fucking CLG slave planet.
They crash land on this planet.
Well, so the alarms go off. Her and her friend they're not affected. There's a couple other alien species that are on the ship that aren't affected either, and they start to basically like try to drag and force as many people as they can into escape pods.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also a month after the Fejo and Maladek being on the planet. So Maladek has been there for a month now.
Yeah, a month at least.
But yeah, so they get as many people into the pods, which, I mean, I think they all end up crash landing on the planet anyway, but it was the thought that counts.
Well, I think that, they tried to, but they drew in the pods still.
Yeah.
Because doesn't Katie get her friend on one of the pods?
Yeah, him and the prince are in their pod, and she like does his little protective gel thing before he can tell her
stop her, because I think they're about to crash land, and there's like 3 more people stuck, and so she runs to help him.
Yeah, it's like they're down to like the 3-minute mark.
Yeah. Well, she gets on this planet, but she's not captured. She's the only one who escapes.
Yeah, I think she ends up landing pretty far off to where they want to scavenge. So I think that's why they don't get to. But she like sneaks, and there's people who aren't so lucky, and she sees what they do. So she's like, oh shit, okay. So she continues hiding.
And she's kind of staking the place out.
Yeah,
she doesn't know that they don't go out at night because there's some kind of like sandworm creatures.
Yeah.
That
tremors.
I was gonna say tremors.
Tremors. Or like Dune or that worm in Avatar.
Yeah.
So so she creeps into the camp / prison looking for her friend and the prince.
And
that's when she stumbles upon Maladek, and he's like, hey, you
let me out.
Oh, also before
over there,
he smells her first.
Yes, that's true.
And this is one of the faster ones where all of a sudden he has
again
marks
with
already.
the smelling.
Yeah, he smells her, and then he has
It's in chapter 4.
The marks appear. Yeah.
I was like, geez, his mate marks didn't take long.
Yeah.
Well, she's trying to like get through he's at like the bottom of this like whole trench. They basically
it's where they
do what?
It's where they keep like the stronger guys, right?
Well, he's like in some special like cell that's got like extra locks, and the walls are more reinforced, so he can't punch his way through them. But she's trying to get through like a locked door that's near his cell, and he's like, if you let me out, I'll help you get through that door so we can find your friends. And so she does eventually let him out, and then he throws her over his shoulder,
abducts her,
throws her over his shoulder and takes her to like one of the mines, and they hide out in a little thing that he busts through the wall or whatever.
And she's like, you said you'd help me get through the door.
Yeah. He's like, I'll help you.
When.
Yeah, I'll help you get your friends. And she's all pissed off. She's like, you said. And he goes, I'll still help you. I just know they weren't through that door. And she's like, well, then why'd you say that? Wait. He goes, you wouldn't have let me out if I had.
Doesn't he like reach for her because he smells her and his eyes turn black, and then he like grabs her, right?
I think he tries to, but she steps like away from the bars. And then he like restrains himself enough while she like does get him out, and then he like busts through the last bit of it, and that's when he like snatches her.
Because everyone who gets a mate, at least the men, they get like enhanced abilities.
Yes, so they're like
super strength, super speed,
stronger, faster. They can kind of locate their mates.
One thing we didn't mention in Fejo was that he could sense where she was at once he became mated.
Yes.
So he like knew she got lost like 2 times before finally getting to like the room.
Yeah.
He's like, oh nope, she went down the wrong hallway. Nope, that's not the right way. Oh, okay, she's good now.
Yeah,
yep,
she's good.
She found it.
Yep.
Which is so funny to me.
Right.
Because I just imagine like Vanessa trying to be her like, you know, smart ass self, and then it's hard to be a smart ass when you're like getting lost.
Yeah. Well, there's the part in Fejo where she's looking for him, and Uja's like, oh, he's probably at the pool. She's like, oh, okay, and she walks one way and then has to turn around and like walk past him again, and she's like, hi.
She just gives him a small wave.
Going the wrong direction, sorry.
Basically, Vanessa is a huge dork.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, so Katie and Maladek are in this little cave that he made, and he goes and gets like a bunch of packs from the other escape pods,
the pods,
like, the little survival packs that they all have in the pods or whatever. And so they're kind of getting to know each other.
He brings her a gem.
Well, he does bring her a gem.
Doesn't Maladek get the idea that he's gonna punch an underground tunnel to the prison?
So basically what his plan is like, you know, even if you get them out of prison, like, you're not gonna be able to help them. We need to get to the communication tower and send out a signal to the prince whatever's family, because they'll come.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't punch like the whole time, but he like gets into I don't know, like an old mine basically, and then it's a tunnel that leads to the town.
He's also trying to show off and be like, look how strong I am.
He is trying to show off.
I punched through this rock with ease. Oh, I think it's funny when like, you know, they separate to like clean up, and his shirt is like ruined, and he's like, well, I've noticed that she's been admiring me, so I'm not going to wear my shirt.
I'm going to leave my shirt off.
And then she's like, what happened to your shirt?
Yeah, she's like, what happened to your clothes?
And he's like, it was, you know, filthy and beyond repair. So, and then he's like,
you like what you see?
I know.
Well, like how they have like, you know, there's obviously attraction there because the mating thing and all that kind of stuff, whatever. And she's telling him like, I feel like it was in her head or something. And she's talking like, I need to go slow. I need to make sure we're compatible. And she talks about like past relationships she's tried to have with aliens. And there was one where she got chemical burns from like their semen. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, hell no. What?
No.
Well, and then she said she's tried like male and female aliens, and it just hasn't worked out.
Yeah. She hasn't found anybody that works compatibility wise with what she's working with.
He's like human, and she's like, wait, how do you know I'm human? And then she realizes there's other humans.
Yeah, she finds out there's other humans.
And he's like, we're compatible because I know other humans that have been mated with my kind. So
this is also when he tells her like why he's on that planet.
Oh yeah,
about the cousin and clearing the debt and then helping them escape. So he got captured.
So he's like, aren't I a good guy?
Right. And this is also the same chapter where we find out that the horns of his species are aphrodisiac.
Yeah,
they're like oysters.
Yes, because he has half a horn.
Yeah,
right?
he's missing half a horn.
He has half a horn.
Yeah. They do grow back. The horns grow back.
Yeah,
we forgot to mention that in Fejo when he broke off what's his face, Capra's horn. The horns do grow back because it's basically part of their like
their mating ritual
culture. Yeah. So you
sex culture.
You find a woman you like, you start giving her some gems, and then she decides to accept you, and then y'all go back to whoever's room, I don't know, and cut off a little bit of horn, grind it up, put it in some sort of drink, and it's like what, ecstasy basically. I would assume it's like X.
It's like Viagra and ecstasy, and
like it heightens,
and then it's like
heightens your libido, makes you more sensitive. Like
men walk around proudly with broken horns,
with shaved horns,
because it means that they've been getting it on with their mate.
They also break because they fight, and they fight often as a culture, and you get tougher and blah blah blah. And
you just imagine them like running at each other with their heads,
right? There's also a point where he says that, they say that the bigger the horns, like the more, like, I don't know, more potent it is, or sexually better they are, or whatever. And she's like, then she's like, starts to wonder, like, well, how big are his horns compared to like others in his species?
Yes.
I was like, oh my God.
I'm surprised that she doesn't know about the mating marks.
Well, she hasn't been around any Clecanians,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's true.
She hasn't been around any sort of Clecanians, so she didn't. She also probably didn't notice like that he didn't have them before.
Yeah, because he already had them when she met him.
Yeah, they showed up.
Oh, he smelled her and then he got them.
Yeah, before he saw her.
Okay, so she thought they were just part of him.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there like the tropey scene where like someone gets hurt and I'll take care of you or something like that? Or what scene is that?
So he has there's things in his ears that he's got like a shock collar on, because that's how they help control him or whatever. He's got a shock collar on, and he's got these things in his ears, and if he tries to remove them, it shocks him or whatever. So he basically, like, one of the nights he has her, they rig up some little thing and he has her like yank out one side, and then he gets shocked till he passes out. And so she takes care of him during that, and then they have to do the other one. I feel like it was the night that they like do it or something. He like protects her from like a partial cave-in from his
I think
roaring.
His roaring,
his loud orgasm.
And he thinks she's gonna be mad at him for like not choosing a good spot or not paying attention or something. And she ends up like still going, and he's like, oh
and then I feel like it's not till the next day she's like, did you do that? Like, did you cause that?
because she like finally gives in to her attraction to him, and you know, she's like, she does that whole thing like, it's not gonna fit.
Yeah.
Like, it'll fit.
Listen, if a baby
like,
baby can come out of there.
Yeah. And then she's like, oh, you're so big. I'm like, girl. Yeah. And she like grabs onto his horns while they're doing it. And I think his horns are sensitive too.
Yeah, they are sensitive. So yeah, they get through the end of the tunnel, they get to the thing and send out the signal, but then they also get like attacked after that, and then one of the worms shows up. Because we forgot to mention this, the sea elegi, we did say like, oh, they don't come out at night, but they like go into like a trance-like sleep at night. They're like drunk, disoriented, can't like function properly. Yeah. So they're trying to get into the communication tower like right as they're, you know, passing out. But one of them calls out the alarm. They get the signal out, and then they're attacked by a couple of sea elegi, and a worm comes. I like how the sea elegi are like trying to get them, and then the worm comes, and the sea elegi basically like the one that was going after her like pushes her down and like runs off. Yeah. You don't have to be a fast runner, you just have to be faster than the person you're with. kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah, I like the National Park Service, they posted something like that, like you don't have to be faster than the bear, just faster than your slowest friend.
Yeah.
Like, National Park Service.
They post some funny shit.
I love them. Their social media is great.
Whoever runs their socials is doing a good job. I forget, they get back to the cave, right? And they wait till the people show up. The bird people. And then they rescue everybody. And then the prince and the bird people are like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Like, thank you. And they're so appreciative. And she's like,
Katie, we are in your debt.
Yeah, she's like, so I'm not going to come back with y'all. This guy's my mate. I'm going to go live with him. Which, of course, there was a point where he's like, you're, you know, like, you're a slave for them. And she's like, well, only until I like pay out my thing that because they paid for her basically after she was kidnapped, and she's paid off like whatever it was, the cost that they paid to get her.
Yeah,
but she's just been so comfortable there that she stayed. But for a moment he's like, what, they didn't like keep to their word to let you go? And she's like, no, they did. I chose to stay. He's like, okay, fine.
Yeah, and she's like, what else am I gonna do?
Where else am I gonna fucking go?
Where am I gonna go?
But so she basically tells them like, I'm going to go back with Maladek and meet his family and whatnot. And they go back to his home, and he's got a little space all set up for her. And she's like, wait, you're not like, we don't live together? And he's like, you want to stay together? And she's like, yeah, I want to stay together. It's so cute every time the Clecanian like men are like, you don't want your own space? And they're like, no, I want to sleep next to you. Like,
it's like, I'm your wife, you idiot.
Yeah. But they do the little horn grinding.
No, he basically has a sex room.
Oh yeah.
They have a sex room. There's mood lighting and cushions.
Yes.
And you know, aromatherapy and a lot of lube. And you know, there's just it's you know, it's not like the playroom like 50 Shades. It's just like everything's soft. Yeah, everything is soft and comfortable, and there's like some hydration packs in there.
Yeah.
So that you can just fuck.
Some liquid IV.
Yeah. Liquid IV, some snacks. You know, because they're going to be in there a long time.
I was like, I don't think I can't remember if it said like how long like the effects of the horn stuff lasts.
Well, he microdosed her, and I think it was going to last like 12 hours or something like that. Also, I mean, the Clecanian men, they have, stamina.
Yeah.
And I think when you take that little powder, you also have stamina.
Yes.
So you can, because don't they like do orgies on this planet or something? Am I remembering that incorrectly?
I didn't re-listen to this one, so I'm not sure. Like, that could also be with the scene where Fejo gets wings. I don't know.
Because I think he's like, we fuck as hard as we fight. I think it's like, like we're always fighting, but we're also always fucking. Like, so
they might. I honestly, I don't remember. I just know that
I'm like, this sounds like a really fun planet.
I just know that I was not surprised at all in the epilogue when she ends up pregnant.
Yeah.
I guess she can't have all. Yeah. I do like that Victoria has some books where there is no pregnancy, and then obviously there are going to be books with pregnancy. The whole point is that like they need to procreate, create some more women.
At the end of Alex and Ozed, Alex is like, yeah, I want to have this man's babies.
Yeah. At that point, she's like, okay, I'll have his kids. And he also wants
like,
kids.
Girl, me too. I would have his babies. I don't even want babies, but I'll have
I don't know.
Babies.
I'll go hang out with Maladek and just have some orgies with his people. I don't want to have anyone's babies. I don't. Anyway, is there anything else we'd like to add to Fejo and Maladek?
I pick Fejo.
Oh,
I picked Fejo.
No, Fejo. I didn't realize that was even a question.
100%.
Yeah, well, because at the end of these, we're like, who do you prefer?
That's true.
Fejo.
I mean, I just assumed we were all just no to Maladek. Not that, like, I mean, he redeems himself. He's a good guy, but
yeah,
I'm not a fan of his. Like,
I mean, it's really hard to be a fan of his after Fejo. Even though, like, sure, he sacrifices himself and lets him get away, but like, I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, I guess I do know it was written for a charity anthology book thing, so I guess she had to pick somebody she wasn't going to write a full length novel about.
Yeah. Now that we have 6 Clecanian men, we have to rank them.
Oh fuck. Okay, so we have Theo.
I think I have this written down.
Okay, so we have Theo, Luca, Verico, Ozed, Fejo, and Maladek.
Maladek's on the bottom.
Yeah. Is this each our personal rank, or are we having to agree?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Personal rank. It's always personal.
Well, I didn't know if we were going to have to be like, okay, like 2 out of 3 of us pick this, so this one's above that person. Like, I didn't know if this was like just a 1 for all 3 of us, or we each get our own.
Yeah. No. But I think we all can agree that Maladek is on the bottom, right?
Maladek is on the bottom for me.
Yeah.
I'd probably put Verico right above him.
Yes. Okay.
I'd probably put Ayuz next.
See, Ozed's higher for me.
Ozed. I'd probably put Ozed next.
Oh, really? I would have put...
I think I'd put Luca. Yeah, I'd put Luca.
Luca.
Ozed's still pretty high for me.
See, and then it's Theo, and then it's Ozed. No, actually, no. And then it's Fejo for me, and then Ozed.
So Ozed's at the top for you?
But, yeah, but we know he's going to get knocked down.
Once you do the other.
But as of right now, Ozed is holding first place for me.
Okay, so we'll go from top to bottom for me. I'm gonna go Ozed. I think I'm gonna go Theo. Then Fejo.
Like Theo or Fejo?
Theo. Okay. Ozed, Theo, Fejo. Then Luca. Then Verico. Then Maladek. And then Elaine, what was yours top to bottom?
Top to bottom, Fejo, Theo, Luca, Ayuz, Verico, and Maladek.
Okay. And then Liana, yours?
Ozed, Fejo, Theo, Luca, Verico, Maladek.
Okay. This is fun.
I just can't wait for the next one.
I know. I think I don't have Maxie yet. Do I? I don't remember.
You can skip it. It's okay.
No, I'm not gonna skip it. I'll read them. I'll read them back to back, and then
you gotta let me know when you read Sick Then, and then I can read Sick Then.
Okay, you've read Maxu, right?
I read Maxu.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. I'll stop dragging us down. I'll stop holding us back.
I want to get to my grumpy shadow daddy.
I'm really curious. I am very, very curious to see where Rhaego is going to rank once we get, more details about him.
Yes.
So I feel like we've all got expectations now that he's gonna, we've wanted his story, and I'm like, is he gonna live up to whatever hype that we've created for ourselves?
I mean, Sick Then will always be number one.
But how do you know that, though?
It's a competition. It's a competition for number two.
What if you like Rhaego better?
I just know. No, I know. You will read it, and then you'll understand.
What happens if I read it and I just don't like it?
Oh, no.
I hope not. We're not going to be friends anymore.
Why did the podcast stop? I didn't like Sick Then, so Liana said she wouldn't work with me anymore.
I can't work like this.
Can't work in these conditions. Okay, that's all I've got. Y'all have anything else?
Yeah.
We're good?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No.
As always, thank you, listener, for joining us. Please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. Follow us on our socials. We're Book Talk Babes Pod on Instagram and TikTok, and Book Talk Babes on Goodreads and StoryGraph. Please email us topics, questions, and book recommendations to booktalkbabespod@gmail.com, or you can DM us on any of our socials. Everything is listed in the description. Have a lovely day and week. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.